we're gonna do a big pylon inside of the compost bins today. So if y'all do some composting, this is the video to watch. All right, so this is our new compost bin right here. This right here has a mixture of scraps from the table, manure, and lots of greens and just dead grass and things like that. But what you really want to add to it is a nice nitrogen. Let's add rabbit manure. Now let's add all of our scraps. Okay, and what I like to add next is a blood meal type mix here. So this is chicken blood with some composted dirt that we made last year with mulch. And so I put that in there as well. So this mixture right here is going to be extremely powerful for when you start gardening. It's all going to be broken down, and you're going to have your nitrogen in there, your fertilizer, you're going to have a blood meal, which adds a lot of other great compounds as well. And you're going to have a nice mulch in there as well. So the mulch is going to break down a little bit slower than the other things, but it's going to also create a heat in there. Now, some people put a whole lot of mulch on there, and that's really good. Put as much mulch on there as you can. So I basically get what I have around here in the garden, because, you know, I want it to be easy enough for everyone there at home. The only thing you may have a little bit of trouble with is getting some chicken blood. Just go ahead and get some blood meal or something like that. But we like to let that chicken blood soak into our compost mixture, and then we mix it into the compost. But this right here is going to make a really great compost for the year. Product right here. So this is compost that we created from last year, and used it for our potting for earlier this year when we grew our eggplants in containers. All the eggplants we grew in containers, we used the compost material right here. It really helped our eggplants grow extremely large, and our peppers and everything like that. Now this right here, this is the finished product, like I said, and as you can see, it is the mixture of the dirt. This is all broken down. This is the mixture of the dirt. This has the mulch in it, and this has the fertilizer in it. And we actually have chicken fertilizer in this one. So the one that I'm showing you today has rabbit manure in it. You can either use it with chicken manure or really any manure that you want to do. The easiest for us was either the chicken or the rabbits. And we're going to be doing the rabbit manure in one compost pile. And we always have another compost pile with, you know, it always has a chicken manure in it from the dirt from the garden. So this has the manure, the fertilizer. This has all the scraps from the table all broken down, and it has the mulch in it, and it has the blood meal in it. And so nice black, beautiful dirt here. You can use for potting or really anything you want to do. Something that we like to do as well that helps out in our planting in the garden, in the ground, is we'll actually dig the hole and we'll put this in there along with everything else. We'll put wood ashes inside of the hole that we're gonna plant something in as well. So when you do a garden, you know, in the ground instead of in a container, you can actually, when you dig the hole, put some of your compost in there first to give it a big boost of nutrients, and that'll help a lot. It has always made our tomatoes grow quickly. It's always made our zucchinis and squash, everything grow really quickly. For those of you who have seen our videos on, you know, growing this and growing that, you know, butternut squash, cucumbers on a fence, eggplants, all those different things, we have used the compost in the ground for all those growing videos. What are you doing, Pepper? That's a good girl. So this is basically our bedrock, our foundation when we're either growing in pots or in the ground. We'll put this in first so that everything gets a nice boost of nutrients, especially if the land that you have doesn't have a wide variety of what plants actually need. Let's go, girl. So let's go ahead and review. So you got to see basically the process of what I do on a weekly basis. And you can do this right at home. It's very, very simple. You can definitely build this 4x4 little garden bed style here. It's very, very easy. Anybody can do it, even if you have a little plot of land in a neighborhood, like 0.1 acres or something like that. You can always build something like this and throw your compost in there. So this is the way to do it. Very, very easy. And this is the hardcore way of doing things. It is doing it like a pro. You'll get everything that you need inside of your compost material there. It really cuts down your costs on buying dirt from the store, you know, because it does get expensive. It really does get expensive, especially if you get the organic brands. It gets very expensive. So let's review. You want to go ahead and put in your scraps, your food scraps. You want to put in a fertilizer. So as you saw, I put in the rabbit fertilizer in here, the rabbit manure. You can also do chicken manure. I do that as well in our other compost bin over there. I have lots of dirt from where we moved our chickens around on. And there's lots of chicken manure in there, and I'd throw it in there. So you want to get your manure, which is also a nitrogen that you're putting in there, a very high nitrogen source. So it's a fertilizer and nitrogen. You also want to put in some mulch, because mulch is actually going to heat the pile up really, really well. So if you don't have any mulch out already, we usually have mulch kind of laying around from previous years of gardening and things like that, and we'll throw a lot in there. The more mulch, the better, actually. You know, there are certain companies that just have piles of mulch compost, you know, mulch compost. So, but put a bunch of mulch in there, and you want to go ahead and water it every once in a while and turn it. The next thing you could go ahead and put in there is grass clippings. So when you mow the lawn, put the bag on the lawnmower and just take out the bag and dump it in there. It's the easiest way to do it. Mix that in your pile. So you're going to have a lot of organic, natural matter in there, and it's going to break down over time. If you have a lot of worms in your dirt, throw them inside your compost pile. We did that in the spring of this year. We would actually, when we were out here tilling the ground, we would actually pick out worms, put them in a bucket, and we would dump them inside of our compost pile. And we would actually experiment by putting all of our table scraps inside of a bucket, and we just throw the worms inside the bucket with that, and they would break it all down. So if you have a lot of worms, go ahead and just throw them in there when you dig them up, or you can actually order them online. You get like 1,000 or 10,000 of them at once. So that's all you really need to compost. Now, you need to make sure you're moving it around. Like I said, water a little bit. If it rains, you know, fairly often, you don't have to worry about that. But make sure you turn it quite often. You want to release the heat, the gases, everything in there, and just let that get broken down, and just kind of have that regular turning of your compost pile. So this is the way to do it. This is our proven method. It has worked awesome over the years, and we are just adding more and more to this way of composting. Every year we're finding out new ways of doing it. So if you have another way of composting that has worked out great for you, go ahead and leave it in the comments. I'm always open to learn some new things, but this is what's been working out great for us, and I hope it works great for y'all. So thank you so much. If this has been helpful to you in gardening, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like, and I'll see you on the next video.